Ready to go for an MPG running Slambo? Gotta fire up dash command first. Loading up there. And we are hooked up to the dash via the JVC. Gonna accept that. Don't know if you can see it back there. I have this little guard here that helps keep the sun glare out. I'm gonna take that off. Just a little piece of plastic. I use it, but you won't be able to see it at all. I'm not sure how much you're gonna be able to see here. We're gonna go to dashboards. Sometimes you gotta hit twice. There we go. And I'll show you some of the techniques that I picked up on. Gonna bring up the fuel economy screen and I'll get ready to reset it. I follow the same procedure time after time after time for consistency. Take her up to third gear, into fifth, and reset. Try and get a nice cruise on here because we've got a downhill stretch, a little bit of uphill, and we want to try and get as much roll out of it as possible. That is the big trick. Roll as much as you can without rolling over. So right now we're in a nice coast, heading downhill a little bit, and it's going to get a lot quieter here. Pavement changes. Much better, huh? My goal through here is to keep this as high as possible. Speed limit on this road is 45, and in here, I get a little bit closer to 50 to keep it moving. This is pretty flat. We're rolling along a floodplain. It does start to creep up right after we get out of the S curves. When I see it drop out of lean burn, I just lift a little bit to get it back in. But the problem here is we're moving uphill, so we're always going to lose some fuel economy uphill. It's going to drop out of lean burn. And I've been fiddling back and forth, trying different plans, different approaches to this. I just don't want the speed to drop too low. We get over a little rise here. And what I'll do is throw it back into third, ease on a little throttle, get her back into fifth. Sometimes she'll pop the lean burn here, sometimes not. So right now we are in lean burn as we're rolling up this hill. My numbers are lower than where I'd like them to be right now, and I'm losing a good bit. Here's the big trick right here. Over the crest of the hill, just throw it in neutral. Speedometer shows about 43 right now. It will creep up as we roll downhill. You hear the car get super quiet, drops down to an idle, somewhere around 800 RPM, and we pick up speed as we move downhill. Not as much as I'd like to. Of course, you see the numbers go way up here into the 200s. Nasty dead critter there, looked like a fox. And I'm back into fifth gear here. Gets a little tricky into this spot. We've got an intersection on the left and then a crazy intersection on the right with a bridge, with a one-way bridge. But my goal is usually to try to be around 60 when I'm at this point. And I'm a bit shy of that right now. Going to downshift here because there's always a possibility of traffic. Now, give it some throttle. Back into fifth. At a steady cruise when it's relatively flat, 45 to somewhere near 60, I think she's good for about 50. There's a lot of up and down on this road, so you got to work the hills. You're always going to take a beating on the way up. The big trick is to try and coast on the way up. Not easy to do. Back in the third. and I try to use the hills as much as possible. I'm no expert at this. I still don't know what I'm doing, but it's fun, you know. Hills are tough on this little engine because it just doesn't have a whole lot of horsepower, or torque more importantly. So pops out a lean burn, and that's where you take a beating. But as long as the road is pretty flat, or certainly tilted down forward, it does just fine. So again, speed limit is 45. Trying to creep up this hill at about 46. I'm going to lose some on the way up. Looks like I got a van in a hurry behind me, so that always messes you up. You know, when you have somebody behind you, you can't help but step on the accelerator pedal more. Just kind of the way it is. That other person just makes you more nervous, that other car makes you nervous. You don't want to hold them up. So I try and stick to the speed limit, a little bit above. And here I'm going up a hill, so not in lean burn. Gonna go back to third real quick, pop it in, back to fifth. Now I'm gliding. So I do a lot of that skip shifting and a lot of quick downshifts. So I'll go first, second, third, boom, into fifth. No reason to go to fourth. Every time you step on the throttle, you're using a little bit extra gasoline. Now the best I've done on this route is somewhere around 60 indicated. Is that 60 for real? Nah, probably not. Is it close? Maybe. My best indicated tanks have been on average around 45, but I have had some exceptional tanks. It all depends on how, when, and where you're driving. If you're in stop and go traffic, you're not going to see a 50 mile per gallon tank in this car, ever. But out on the open road, it'll do it. So we're coming up to one of these glide opportunities again. Unfortunately, we got to lose a little bit on the way up, and that's going to hurt us here. A little bit of extra throttle seems to make it ease into lean burn. We get a good coast coming through here. So once again, I'm coming up to another big downhill. Pull it into neutral right here. I'm about 50 miles per hour, losing a little bit because I let out right before the crest. It'll pick up a bit of speed on the way down. And I'm pretty far below my best. Love how quiet the car is when it's just idling. Now once it starts to get flat here, I'll throw it into fifth. Still work the coast, coming into a sharp pair of turns. This van is now on my butt. He won't want to go through these as fast as I will. So we're at 40, and I'm going to accelerate right here. To 50 into fifth foot off. Now I'm back into a coast. And the van's off my butt. So you probably can't see it, but there's a big dip here where we had to get on the throttle. But we are cruising. Just dropped a bit. Dropped a big bit. But still looks pretty good. So in the flats here, it's showing an average indicated around 58. That is with a little oomph. That's not a coast. That's not foot off. So that is lean burn. Can it do it at 65? No, there's too much wind. That won't happen. The cleaner you can drive, the smoother you can drive, the higher your numbers are going to be. Now, there are a lot of things that I don't do. I don't believe in engine off coasting. There are some people that do. I'm just not big on that at all. So coasting in neutral is okay for me, but I will never shut the engine off and coast. I don't care how much gas you might save, it ain't worth it. And today, gas is down to, I think, $1.67 at Costco. So, come on, not worth dying for. So now we're coming into a 35. I'm going to coast down a little bit. Throw it into fourth. And we're coming into the berg about 5 miles per gallon lower than I'd really like to be, than my aim. And take a turn left here. And we should hit about 55. There you go, 55. So that's it, 55 mile per gallon run in Slambo on my favorite testing road. Is that indicative of normal driving conditions? Well, it depends on what your normal drive is like, right? You do a lot of country roads, a lot of 2-lane blacktops, 45, 55 mile per hour roads, you can do it. And so, am I running anything special in here? Not a lot, really. Michelin Defender tires, Valvoline SynPower full synthetic with max life, right, for older engines. Slambo has 138,000 miles on it. As far as I know, it's the original engine, the 16Y5 lean burn. As far as I know, it's running conventional fluid in the transmission. I have a B&M short throw shifter and my Tiki shift knob. Other modifications, the engine is stock. Stock intake, relatively stock exhaust. Got lowering springs, got some mods up front, some aero mods up front, and the belly pan I'm working on in back. But nothing heavy duty that I would consider heavy duty. Nothing really freaky. Upper grill block, and yeah, my front bumper mod's a little different, but I wouldn't say it's extreme. That's all we got for today. Be sure to let us know what you think down in the comments. Hit that like button, share this video, and if you haven't subscribed, you definitely want to hit the subscribe button. You can check out all the other behind the scenes episodes in the 8 Fuelin playlist. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you down the road.